Hello my dear friends, you're in the Military Summary channel, and this short video we're going to discuss the most important events that took place during the previous night of the local time. And first we're going to talk about Avdiivka from the southern direction of this area. We have two important geolocations that show us the progress and the positions of Ukrainians and Russian forces. On this video, for example, we can see how the Ukrainian forces were attacking the Russian forces with FPV drones, which confirms the Russian progress and the Russian edge positions on this area. Still, this video doesn't confirm the control of Russian armed forces over the former air defense base, and still some mappers shows this territory under Ukrainian control, but anyway, it's very close to this territory. Interesting video is coming a little bit to the north from former air defense base. On this video, for example, we can see how the Russian forces were bombing and attacking this territory with tall flamethrower systems, and very likely that the Russians are planning to start the ground operation in this direction as well. During the previous days, the Russians managed to improve their positions in the vicinity of Tsarskaya Okhota, along Soborna, Sportivna and Chernyshevskaya Street. They managed to repel every single Ukrainian attack, and now the Russians are trying to develop their positions on the south. The most important and the most interesting updates are coming from the northern part of Avdiivka. Today the Ukrainian sources published the video. Very important video, and this video was geolocated and was confirmed that this is a recent video. On these scenes published by the Ukrainian soldier, we can see a series of FPV drone strikes against the Russian forces in Avdiivka. As you can see, there were a lot of strikes, and just the, let's say, assigned society managed to, let's say, discover and geolocate just few strikes, but these few strikes is important and enough to see the changes on the ground and to adjust the map. So, if we return back to the map, we see a significant number of strikes. If we return back to the map, we're gonna see that those strikes took place, the first ones, one of the strikes took place somewhere here. As you can see, this is already the central part of Avdiivka, and the second strike took place a little bit to the north. So that means that as a result of clashes, assault and offensive operation that took place during the previous days, the Russians managed to establish control over this territory. This is a huge and big advance of Russian armed forces, and this geolocation shows that the Russians managed to enter the central part and have already cut the eastern part of Avdiivka from the central. Obviously, the next days we're gonna receive more updates from this attack from this line as well. Anyway, this is a very big, very huge and very important progress, and there is not much left for the Russians to establish and to cut this territory in many pieces. The Russians need just to move for another few streets to the south, and if they can do this, obviously the Avdiivka may start collapsing automatically. Now we are moving to Marinka direction. We have more details, more confirmations of the battle that took place during the previous days. As you can see, most of the mappers have already updated their maps. Some mappers have updated the map showing not just control over these three lines, but at least half of these three lines. We still haven't received any geolocated videos of clashes for this territory, so for now we're not going to change the map, and we have some details about the clashes and fights that took place. On this video, for example, we can see how the Russian FPV drone operators were clearing the territory, trying to ease the movements and the progress of the Russian forces along that tree line. The Ukrainians from their side publish the geolocated video as well. 46 Air Mobile Brigade published the video how they were attacking and bombing with FPV drones the Russian tanks that were moving or heading in direction of those let's say strongholds and those fortification belts. Significant number of tanks were damaged, some of them, as you can see, were destroyed. Anyway, this is also very huge and important advance of the Russians. The Russians managed to wedge inside the Ukrainian defense belt. The Ukrainians currently are forced to strengthen their defense belt, and now they need to keep their forces along this very big line, and from the other side the Russians can choose the direction of attack and they can attack in any direction. Now we are moving to Novomikhailivka area. We have another geolocation. The Russian sources published the video of Toss flamethrower strike on the south of Novomikhailivka. On this video we can see something like artillery preparation before further Russian offensive operation to the north. The Russians are trying to develop their, let's say, foothold in this area to, let's say, stretch their positions and to attack further to Vadiana using the broad frontline attack. So basically, That geolocation confirms that the Russians at this stage of battle for Novomikhailivka has this this area to establish is the main priority for the Russians. We have adjusted the map on the northern part of Novomikhailivka. Now this territory is in the gray zone due to changes on the map of different reliable resources. Now we are moving further to the north in direction of Bogdanovka. We have also some adjustments on the map. According to information we have, the Ukrainians managed to repel and counterattack the Russians in this area and to force them to step back. We discussed this video yesterday. For example, this is the video I'm talking about. The Russian infantry, the Russian stormtroopers were attacking the Ukrainian stormtroopers were attacking the Russian trenches, and as a result of those attacks, the Russians were forced to step back. So we have more or less reliable confirmation of Ukrainian progress, so that's why we will adjust the map. And interesting updates continue coming from Terny Liman direction. We have adjusted the map showing the gray zone, and most of the sources confirms that as a result of offensive operation, the Russians managed to improve their position and to establish control over something like this. Very huge and very big advance. The Russians, seems to me, are unstoppable on this direction. Today, very likely, we're going to receive more updates, and if the Russians continue attacking the same speed, obviously, sooner or later, the Ukrainians will be collapsed and will be forced to start running away from these territories. When talking about Sinkivka and Kupinsk direction, we have also some updates. According to mappers, the Ukrainians took a decision to withdraw their positions in the forest between Liman 1 and Sinkivka and to move closer to the Ukrainian positions that lays along Oskol River. And that's it for the short video. Military Summary channel reminds to condemn any violence in the world. Thank you for your watching. Subscribe to my channel, put your likes, join my Patreon, and have a good day. Bye bye.